Hi there, I'm Alex from OwnersRoom, and if you are the founder, CEO, or CFO of a startup or growth company, I highly recommend that you stick around. Today, I'll walk you through one of the most common use cases of OwnersRoom, namely fundraising. Other startups and growth companies are using OwnersRoom today for anything from the pre-deal work to the deal execution itself, and one of the most critical things to have in place before start is your stakeholders. So let's jump right into the members section. When you are preparing for your fundraising, it is important to make sure that all your existing shareholders as well as potential investors have access to your room. And if someone is missing, you can simply invite them here. The next step should be to take a look at your groups because when you launch your fundraising, it is important to be able to differentiate access on both the documents you've uploaded as well as the updates that you send out. Another thing to consider is that you might also need to create separate groups specific for this fundraising as well. Let's say you are currently in a due diligence process, then you might need to set up a separate group for the due diligence teams as well. When you have gone through all this, you should be ready to start working with your content. So, speaking of due diligence, your document room is a great place to start. When you are getting ready to launch your fundraising, it is important to make sure that all your documentation is in order. Now, there is a big difference in how many documents you need based on what type of investor you're seeking funding from. However, the fundamental principles are the same. Be transparent and make sure to provide all the documents they need in order to be comfortable with their investment. We recommend setting the access to super admin and admin at first, as this will allow you to gradually build the entire folder in a draft mode without anyone external having access to your documents. Start with creating a folder and setting the access to super admin and admin, and then proceed to build subfolders for the different themes of your documents. As soon as the document room is finished, you change the access to include the different groups. In this case, we have set up simple groups for your shareholder and the potential investors that will be invited. So now all the documentation will be made available for them. When all your members and documents are uploaded and reviewed, you are ready to start communicating with your investor network. So let's see how you can handle this with OwnersRoom. Keeping your network updated continuously is, of course, one of the most important aspects of building trust and creating engagement, and it's also essential during your funding round. We recommend that you set a specific launch date and timeline for your fundraising, as this will make it much easier for all parties. As an example here, I will set up the following update to my investor network. I'm now announcing that our fundraising is officially open and notifying them that they will shortly receive a subscription form for digital signing. We'll get back to that very soon. Next, I tell them a bit about our timeline and the specific dates they will need to remember. As soon as all this is finished, I'm ready to send everything out, launching the funding round to my investor network. Now that you have created and shared the update, you might want to know how it's doing. So let's take a quick look at analytics. After officially launching your funding round, we recommend that you use our analytics functionality actively. As soon as the update is sent, we start fetching out email analytics, letting you verify that all the emails have been delivered, check out who has opened it, and if you link to, for example, a folder for due diligence, you can verify whether or not they have clicked into the room. This allows you to keep track of any potential investors that might have missed the email when the deadline is getting close. The effect of knowing who to call or send a reminder to in the middle of a funding round can make a huge difference. Another important aspect of analytics is to actually verify that the emails you have provided are valid. You might have an old email registered on the investor, meaning that it will bounce and they will miss the funding. Making sure that all data is correct is extremely important before getting ready to send out the subscription forms for the deal. And that is our next step. All right, you have now made sure that all the current shareholders and potential investors have access. You have uploaded and reviewed the documentation for the due diligence, and you have officially launched the funding round through updates. You are now ready to set up your deal and send out the subscription forms. We have navigated to our deals module and we can start setting up the deal. Let's call this our seed round 2021 and set up our pre-money evaluation and target to raise. Based on the cap table, we will automatically set the price and the new shares to be issued. And don't worry, we don't stop the funding round if you reach your goal or run past your deadline. Now we need to upload any necessary documentation that is related to the generic subscription form, such as any specific terms, the general meeting approval, etc. We recommend that you coordinate this documentation with your lawyer or accountant to make sure everything runs smooth from here on out. So the next step is to add all the participants that should be invited to subscribe. Here you are completely free to choose who should be invited. And finally, we are shown the empty dashboard, and the only thing remaining is to verify the data and subsequently publish the deal. Here we can see that all the subscription forms have been delivered, and as soon as the investors start signing, I can start tracking the round. As you see here, several of the investors have subscribed already, and we are getting close to our goal. Once you reach or surpass your goal, you can close your round and you can easily export all subscription forms to Excel to help with the allocation that comes next. Once all the legalities are in place, the data should go into the cap table, which I will show you how to do now. Okay, we are now ready to update our cap table according to our latest funding round. I'll click Update Cap Table here and select a new share issuance. I have all the data I need from our general meeting minutes, so let's add that and simply select the participants. Then we fill in the number of shares for each investor. As soon as all the data is filled out, we just need to complete the issuance, and voila, our cap table is up to date. You can now easily jump into the transaction log to see all the data I just filled in, and if you find any mistakes, you can of course fix them and the cap table will be updated accordingly. The final step is perhaps to notify all your new shareholders that the cap table has been updated, and we suggest you send out an email via updates to let them know. So that's it for now. I've just shown you one of the many different ways you can handle a full fundraising process with OwnersRoom, from due diligence to email analytics, and of course, last but not least, digital subscription forms and deal analytics. We hope this is something that will come to use to you, and if you have any thoughts or ideas on how we can improve going forward, don't hesitate to reach out. I look forward to meeting you.